What's up, guys? Today we've got a very special Robbie's Reviews. Right now I'm in the 1994 Hummer H1 Baja. This is actually the first American-built and American-driven vehicle to compete in and finish the grueling Dakar Rally. This and its sister truck actually competed in 1996 and finished the Paris to Dakar Rally. And right now I'm driving it. I just want to thank my friend Maurizio, who currently has the vehicle for sale, and he's allowed me to take it out to review it and go through all its special features. Let's go check it out. Alright guys, here she is, the 1994 Hummer H1 Baja. This vehicle is produced by AM General Corporation, which of course, as you know, made the military Humvees and Hummers for the Army and Marines. And this is not actually a Humvee or slant back body style. It's actually the H1T body style, which is the pickup truck. So it's the single cab with the extended bed. And you can actually see here where the rear doors would be. See the handles and everything. And there's everything from welding machines, floor jacks, all kinds of tools behind the diamond-plated steel containers. And we're gonna have a lot to go through with this vehicle, but let's jump into it. I mean, back here you have the all kinds of cooling fans. You have the roll cage, which ties into the bed, the cab, and also the engine bay, which we'll get a look at in a little bit. And you have probably one of the most crazy suspension setups ever. Now keep in mind, this vehicle is from the 90s, and it's actually everything still works. And while some spots may look a little bit rusty, it's actually really just age. The king shocks and the struts still work perfectly. All the lighting still works. You have these spare tires back here. Everything kind of slides out and allows you for a quick tire change. Now remember, this is the actual vehicle that competed in and finished the Paris to Dakar Rally in 1996. It actually finished 67th out of 71 vehicles. While that might not seem like anything great when it comes to racing, if you know about the Dakar Rally, you know it's one of the most grueling races on the planet. And most vehicles don't make it. There's been many people killed during the rally. Now, for those of you wondering, this truck is for sale, and it has about 8,500 miles on it, and most of those were accrued during the Dakar Rally. So you can imagine what this truck went through. And for the fact that everything still works, it drives great. I mean, I drove it on the street to get to the spot from the owner's shop. My friend Maurizio was selling it, like I said. And really, if you're looking for an amazing collector vehicle, part of racing history, American racing history, something that's proven and actually finished in one of the most deadly races on the planet, then I think you would like to have this in your collection. So you guys have probably already noticed that the roof has some cutouts in it with some polycarbonate windows there so you can see through. We'll get a look at that in a little bit. And these are actually the original sponsors and graphics on the vehicle. The two drivers were Tom Wamberg and Austin Robeson. And you can see all the sponsors are still there, intact. This is original from 1996. Nothing has been altered on this vehicle. Nothing has been removed. Everything you see is, I guess you can call, battle scars from the Dakar Rally. And as we'll open up the hood in a little bit and check out the interior, you can see everything is original. Nothing has been changed. And as the vehicle sits, it was actually purchased from the original owner, where my friend Maurizio now has it in his shop. And he's selling it. But you can see the part of the roll cage goes all the way on the roof here, all through the interior, which we'll get a look at more in depth in a little bit. But you can see the cage just goes around everywhere. Goes around through the engine bay, comes out the back here, all the way through the frame and around back. And these are actually the original spare tires with the original ratchet straps holding them in. Can't even imagine what these have gone through being on the back of this thing. We're going through the desert at probably 100 or so miles an hour or more. Coming around the front here, you have these the PIA lights, the off-road lights. Everything works. The headlights, turn signals, running lights, even the cab lights up at the top work perfectly. Around the side here, you have the beadlock wheels with the original BF Goodrich tires, and they've been through the whole entire Dakar Rally. I know I keep saying, feel like a broken record, I keep saying that this vehicle competed in and finished the Dakar Rally, but it really is amazing. You rarely ever get to see the vehicles that, let alone competed in, because either they were destroyed or sold or dismantled for parts. But here we actually have one of the original vehicles that finished the Dakar Rally in 1996. And its sister truck is basically the same thing. There were two vehicles competing. They were on the same team. It's really something amazing. Definitely a piece of American racing history. Alright, so right now we're going to open up the hood and get a look at that 6.5 liter turbo diesel V8. You have the poles here. Just like any civilian Hummer H1 or even the AM General Humvees. Oh, this one's already been undone. Pull that out. And we just pull it up like so. And the clamshell style hood falls forward. And here you can see more of those amazing components for the suspension. So many different reservoirs. You have the big king shocks here. The amount of travel on them is insane. You can see the original tires are actually in very good condition. This is the snorkel for the. This thing can basically wade into water more than halfway up the doors. It's really something amazing. Now, in 1994, there was no Duramax turbo diesel in these vehicles. It was just a 6.5 liter naturally aspirated diesel engine. But for performance reasons, a small turbocharger there was fitted onto the 6.5 liter engine. And while it might not be the biggest turbocharger in the world, and I can't imagine this makes that much power, especially weighing as much as it does, the power to weight ratio is definitely not in its favor. However, it was enough to compete in and finish the Dakar Rally. Slow and steady wins the race sometimes, and when you're dealing with a rally that intense and dangerous, it's really the best thing. And you can see the roll cage I was talking about. It extends from the cabin all the way down by the engine, protects the engine, comes all the way up here around the suspension. You have these kind of guards here. It's going across the radiator to protect it from any damage, keep the engine nice and cool. So you have the hood up there, all original, the latches and everything. So the suspension on this thing is actually fairly sophisticated. It includes reinforced lower control arms with limiter traps, sway away triple bypass shocks, and king coilover remote reservoir shocks. It's actually pretty comfortable to drive. It's obviously a huge vehicle, but the body motions are very soft. There's lots of suspension travel. I would argue it rides almost as well as my S-Class. I know it's hilarious saying that, but I'll give you guys another look at the suspension. I know you saw it when I had the hood up, but see it down there. Lots of stuff going on there. The travel is insane. And you can get a better look at the back, the rear suspension here. See all the remote reservoirs, all kinds of shocks. The king shocks there. See that? It's really just amazing. This thing probably felt great going through the desert at about 80, 90 miles an hour. Alright, now let's take a look at the interior. So, there's the door handle here. As you can see, the inside is very much a 1994 Hummer H1 on the door panel until you get more to the interior, where most of the dashboard has been stripped away. The comfortable leather seats that were there have been replaced with very tight racing buckets with a 5-point harness. And anything that wasn't essential has been stripped away and replaced with all types of gauges. So I'll show you the other side in a little bit. This thing is like 8 feet wide, so it's hard to see the other side from here, but we'll start on this side. You have your usual speedometer, has miles per hour and kilometers an hour. Your RPM gauge here goes to actually about 4.5, 5,000 RPM. Your fuel gauge, and then this is where you get to the racing stuff. You have your fuel pumps, dual fuel pumps, front lights, outer lights, inner lights, all kinds of lighting here. Your boost gauge, because it has been fitted with a turbocharger, oil pressure, all the factory panel lights here, turn signals. Of course, the original steering wheel, Hummer steering wheel. And the aside from the park and brake here, which is manual, hydraulic of course, you have this hydraulic cable that's running to a new 4-speed transmission. You have the shifter here, and you do have to shift it manually. You have neutral, reverse, and that is the old 4-wheel drive there, and the shift selector that actually doesn't even work anymore. You have the power switch there. And you have things like heat sinks, first aid kits, and I was showing you guys the roll cage that runs all the way across. So you have it goes all the way through. You have a full roll cage, all kinds of nets and storage areas. It's really just been turned into a rally monster. Now let's go take a look at the other side. And as you can see, this is a very wide vehicle. This area is for the tow hooks. There could be a winch there, but I guess they thought it would be more important to have the skid plate for off-roading and the off-road lights. You got to see at night. A lot of the rally was at night. So coming around to the passenger side, you have the same seat as on the driver's side, 5-point harness. All your electricals here, gauges, volts, exhaust temp, trans temp, water temp, kinds of safety systems and precautions. And then you have a reading light here so they can see at night on the maps where they're going. And you can see the roll cage goes right under these polycarbonate plates or windows here. You can see out. It's pretty cool. And obviously this massive engine and transmission tunnel which extends through the whole middle of the vehicle. As far as passenger room, there's really not that much. As you can see, the all the components here and the transmission and engine tunnel really have most of the width of the vehicle. As far as leg room, you're really kind of cramped, but it's not that bad, to be honest. It's about as much as you get in a supercar. You have a fire extinguisher here. That roll cage just goes all the way up into there. There's actually an onboard fire suppression system back there. Put that back. And of course the windows do roll up and down. No power windows, but if you need AC, there you go. Coming around back, you can just see more of those reservoirs, and here's that floor jack. Just a lot going on to ensure that this vehicle is capable of finishing the grueling rally that it competed in, and it definitely did. So now we're going to go back around to the driver's side, and we're going to start it up, and I'll show you guys the process. So if you're a bigger guy like myself, getting in is not the easiest thing in the world. There's kind of a method to it. Basically just crawl in, fall into the seat. And they are pretty wide seats, so I'm comfortable. Let's close the door. Now, remember when I was talking about that power button earlier, power switch? So here you switch it on. And you have your 2 fuel pumps. 1, 2. Then do ignition. Press here, make sure the glow plug's nice and warm. It'll just say wait. And now it's safe to start it. Turn the key here. And that's it, starts right up. It is very loud. I'm not sure if you guys can hear me. Over the 6.5 liter turbo diesel V8. You have things like your front lights, inner lights. But yeah, I mean, for your boost gauge. For your brake and your gas down there. You have your shifter. So to put it in drive, put the park and brake forward, and then you can shift into and then for reverse, that's it. Put it in neutral. Put the park and brake on. Now I'm going to turn it off so you guys can hear me. Turn the fuel pumps off, turn the power off. And now we're going to go take this thing out on the road and see what it's like to drive, which should be very interesting. Let's go. Alright, so right now we're about to take out the 1994 Hummer H1 Baja to drive on the street. And sorry if you can't hear me over the massive 6.5 liter turbo diesel V8, but I'll try my best to speak up. And right now let's do the startup sequence. So first we have the power switch, 2 fuel pumps, ignition, glow plugs. To wait for the glow plugs to heat up for the diesel engine to ignite. The light is off. Start it up. Starts right up. Not sure how well you guys can hear me, but right now we're going to engage first gear. Take it out. So we have the Hummer H1 Baja out on the road. That amazing state-of-the-art suspension, it rides great. Really can't complain about the ride quality. I got to shift it manually, so I'm putting it in 3rd gear right now. Put it in 4th. can't even really detect the shifts. And the fun part is I don't have mirrors, so I really can't see behind me unless I really turn around. But other than that, it's a joy to drive. It rides like, honestly rides like a Cadillac. It's very, very loud in here. I'm not sure how well you can hear me. However, it's comfortable to drive. It's easy to drive. Got it in 4th gear right now. No big deal. Got it on the auxiliary gas tank. And we're just driving around West Palm Beach, Florida. There's really not much to it when it comes to driving dynamics. The steering is very loose. The visibility is great out the front, except like I said, out of the back. You can't really see past these giant cooling fans, and there's no side view mirrors. So changing lanes is interesting. We have a big semi truck coming up here, so I definitely can't get over. Alright, so we managed to get over without killing anybody and getting the Hummer hit. Now we're going to attempt a U-turn, and I'm not sure how good this thing takes U-turns. Alright, here we go. This is a U-turn. Actually makes a pretty good U-turn. You got to use hand signals to turn. But it honestly, it rides great. I don't know how many times I can say that it rides amazing. It's got plenty of power. It's got the turbo diesel, and I'm just enjoying myself right now. I guess that's about it for how this thing drives. I'm not going to be going on any rallies or going off-road. I'm taking it over to the water right now to do some pictures of it. But other than that, I'll see you guys next time. Alright guys, well that should do it for this review of the 1994 Hummer H1 Baja, which, like I said before, has actually competed in and finished the Dakar rally in 1996 and is a true piece of American racing history. Once again, I just want to thank my friend Maurizio, who's allowed me to take the Hummer out on the road to drive it and see what it's like, and check out all the cool technology and features it has. And remember, it is for sale, so please feel free to message me for pricing and any other info you need. See you next time, guys.